I'm thrilled to be speaking with Sara Spivey, CMO of Bazaarvoice. How do you map out a strategy to reach that right audience at the right time when they have the mindset to buy?
So I think a lot of that is being really crisp around audience definition. It kind of starts there, right? To have the right segmentation. And we segment kind of by, size of company, we segment by vertical, we segment by, where people are in terms of how they're interacting with content. We kind of bring all that to bear. And typically we find that we put people into nurture tracks and they're there for some time. We kind of call them the warming drawer. And then once they're warmed and they've interacted with enough content or enough events or activities, they become kind of hand raisers. And so then we will move them through a sales cycle. But over the last few years, we've tried to get really much more circumspect about making sure that somebody really is a little further down the purchase journey before we move them into sales. There's no harm in letting them kind of incubate. We find that just makes the sales cycle shorter.
And personalization, as you mentioned, is really core to that. Tell us how marketers can deliver more catered customer experiences.
Well, I think they have to get pretty good at segmenting what they know about their customers, potentially supplementing it with other data that comes from other sources about those customers, but really getting in front of them at the right time with a message that's relevant, right? There are all kinds of statistics that say that people aren't bothered by digital advertising if it's relevant to them. Right. And so being able to bring all that data to bear and get in front of a client at the right time with a more personalized message. I know something about you, I know what you're interested in, that will lead them to purchase.
Tell us how Bazaarvoice's data is used and offered to clients.
So for 10 years, more or less, a little over 10 now, we have been collecting data in terms of people interacting with consumer content on various brand and retailer sites. We have about 5,000 brands and retailers in our network, and every day consumers go online to shop and they read reviews, they look at photos, they read questions and answer pairs, and all of that is captured by us so that we are able to really provide a sort of purchase intent view based on shopper behavior. So we know someone has looked at this lawnmower 6 times on 5 different retail sites, or they've looked at these 3 different brands, and then we can create these shopper segments. And that's allowed us to offer an advertising product and some other products in the personalization space. So these buyers are much further down in the funnel than I think you would think of in terms of paid media at the top of the funnel. We know they're ready to buy if they've interacted with all this content. And so we're seeing pretty phenomenal returns in terms of people being able, brands particularly, being able to get the right message in front of the right buyer at the right time to take action.
How do you use face-to-face events?
So we probably don't do as many as we used to, right? I think everybody's kind of pulled back on those in favor of webcasts and webinars, and everybody's time is so valuable, it's hard to physically get places. But there definitely is a value to face-to-face time, and so we certainly still do events, large industry events where we know we're going to see a mix of clients and prospects. It's always a great thing when you are with clients and can have conversations that are not, as part of a buying cycle, so we use that. We also host a fair amount of client events, either on-site or we have a yearly summit users group, and we find those are great to really get people together and get that kind of one-on-one, face-to-face touch.
What one book would you recommend to a marketing colleague?
We read one earlier this year. We used one actually for a sales training event that I thought was really powerful called Weekend Language. And I'm completely drawing a blank on the author, but I'm sure you can Google it. And it's all about how, marketers and salespeople kind of revert into PowerPoint speak and packaging up what they want to say as opposed to telling a story.
Right.
And so it kind of walks you through some tips and techniques to use weekend language in ordinary dealings with clients or prospects that I think is much more genuine and authentic and doesn't sound marketeery. That was pretty impactful.